This is a right eye of a 65-year-old female patient who presented to us with dense posterior polar cataract and a doubtful fishtailing sign. Preoperative oral glycerol was given in order to dehydrate the vitreous, and using a 1 mm keratome, the side port is first made, the globe is stabilized, and using a 2.2 mm keratome, the primary incision is made. Intracameral adrenaline is injected to attain maximum mydriasis, following which an air bubble is injected into the anterior chamber, and then tryptophan blue is injected pointing downwards. Then a second large air bubble is injected so as to paint the dye properly onto the anterior lens capsule. HPMC is injected, the blue and the air bubble is removed from the anterior chamber. Using a bent cystotome, rhexis is initiated. First, a small nick from the center is given towards the left side. The subincisional part is completed first, and then the opposite side, that is the nasal side, is being done. It is very important to note you have to keep the rhexis a little less than 6 millimeters in order to manage when you have an adverse effect. So once the rhexis is done, using a hydrocannula, visco is gently squeezed out of the anterior chamber by depressing the tunnel. Using a hydrocannula, it is slid underneath the rhexis margin, micro hydrodissections without passing to the posterior side of the capsule, and it is done 360 degrees so as to separate the capsule from the underlying anterior cortex. Once this is done, using the same hydrocannula, multiple hydrodelineations are done very slowly so as not to flatten or overfill the anterior chamber. HPMC is injected into the anterior chamber. A long chopper is used through the paracentesis, and a phacoprobe is introduced through the primary incision. The loose cortex and epinucleus within the rhexis margin is gently aspirated using the phacoprobe, and then direct chopping of the nucleus is done. You can see the nucleus is very small. Once the first direct chop is complete, it is difficult and also not safe to rotate the nucleus. So an oblique chop is done and the nasal quadrant is emulsified. The superior heminuclei is gently scooped by keeping the chopper flat. Once the scoop part is in the pupillary plane, it is chopped into smaller pieces and phacoemulsification is done. And likewise, the inferior quadrant is also emulsified. When you have a fragment or quadrant stuck at the angles, do not go to that site with your probe. Instead, take your foot pedal to 0, 1 and 2 repeatedly so that you are creating a turbulence in the anterior chamber which will release the fragment from the periphery and bring it to your probe. Always remember to keep the probe in the center in the pupillary plane. Then switching on to the epinuclear mode, the epinucleus is being emulsified. The nasal part of the epinucleus was emulsified smoothly into the probe, whereas the subincisional area, it was a little difficult. Through the paracentesis, viscoelastic was injected into the anterior chamber, and the phacoprobe, being in foot pedal 0, was removed. It is very important to avoid sudden collapse of the anterior chamber. Using HPMC, viscodissection is done inferiorly and then superiorly, and the entire epinuclear bowl is brought into the anterior chamber. Using a Sinski's hook, it is separated from the bag and brought into the anterior chamber. And with the phacoprobe being in epinuclear setting, the epinuclear bowl is emulsified. You can appreciate that the posterior capsule is intact. So once we know it is intact, when you are doing coaxial irrigation aspiration, always remember to remove the easily accessible cortex first and go to the difficult areas at the end, which means always do the subincisional cortex wash at the end. We can see a little bit of loose cortical fibers on the posterior capsule. So in such a case, very slow and careful hydro polishing of the PC is done. If it is fibrous or thick, it is better left untouched. HPMC is injected to fill the bag and the anterior chamber. A single piece acrylic lens is injected into the bag. While pointing downwards, the leading haptic is put into the bag, and then the trailing haptic is gently tucked inside. Following which, visco removal is done very carefully. Try not to pressurize the bag or depress the IOL too much, causing stress on the posterior capsule. So always, to remove the viscoelastic close to the endothelium, bring the irrigation aspiration probe closer to the primary incision and then rotate in such a way that the opening of the silicone sleeve is pointed upwards. By doing so, all the viscoelastic sticking onto the endothelium will get flushed away. Do not go close to the endothelium and try to aspirate it. The primary and secondary incisions are hydrated using BSS and intracameral moxifloxacin is injected. To summarize, while operating on a PPC case, it is very important to do a proper preoperative evaluation. Preoperative oral glycerol or Diamox or IV mannitol to dehydrate the vitreous is important. Proper mydriasis and proper capsular staining is very important. Rexes should be smaller than 6 millimeters in size. Avoid complete hydrodissection. Partial hydrocleaving between the anterior lens capsule and the cortex can be done. Do multiple hydrodelineations very slowly so as not to overfill or deepen the anterior chamber. Always try to do a direct chopping of the nucleus. Do not rotate the nucleus. Instead, do an oblique chop. Do a slow viscodissection to separate the epinuclear and cortical bole from the capsule. Even if we have a posterior capsular dehiscence in such cases, the epinuclear bole is not in fragments and instead it is in toto, so chances of it dropping is very less. Bring the epinuclear bole to the anterior chamber and in your epinuclear setting, emulsify it. In this particular case, the PC was intact, so coaxial irrigation aspiration was done. Always remove the subincisional cortex at the last. Gentle hydropolishing when you have loose cortical fibers. Do not do hydropolishing when you have fibrotic posterior capsule. Avoid aggressive visco wash maneuvers. Thank you.